Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into something absolutely wild, a dense, ancient Taoist internal alchemy manual. We're going to uncover the highly structured, step-by-step secrets to ultimate longevity exactly as they were recorded in this fascinating source text. We'll be taking some incredibly complex, mystical concepts and breaking them down into clear, actionable steps. And the source text sets up our foundation right away with this really striking analogy. I use spirit as the carriage, breath as the horse. I love this because it perfectly captures how these ancient practitioners viewed the mechanical, interdependent connection between the mind, or the spirit, and the body's energy. You literally can't have one without the other. They have to work together to get you to your destination, which in this case is literal immortality. To demystify this esoteric text, we're going to follow a logical progression today. 1. The root of longevity. 2. Mastering the breath. 3. Visualizing inner deities. 4. Healing and daily conduct. And 5. Defeating the 9 worms. All right, starting with part 1, the root of longevity. So, the theoretical anchor of this entire text is a concept known as yuan qi. It's defined as the original breath. Now, we're not just talking about the air you breathe into your lungs. This is the foundational, vital energy that serves as the absolute root and stem of your physical body. The manual makes this huge, bold promise. If you can just manage to secure this original breath within yourself, well, escaping mortal decay naturally follows. It's the literal key to longevity. But to manage that energy, 2 forces have to be locked together. Think back to that opening quote. The spirit, or Shen, is the mother and the carriage driver. It has to constantly direct and govern the breath, or qi, which is the child and the horse. The manual points out that most people fail at achieving longevity because, let's face it, their spirit gets distracted by the outside world. And that leaves the breath completely unguided. You have to actively steer the horse. Moving right along to part 2, mastering the breath. Okay, moving from theory into practice, how do these ancient seekers actually capture this elusive energy? The text gives us an exact, highly focused breathing cycle. First, you inhale clear yang breath through your nose. Then you exhale the turbid, stale yin breath through your mouth. Finally, and this is the crucial part, you swallow to physically guide that vital energy down into your body, specifically into an energy center below the navel called the lower dantian. The whole goal is to condense this energy mass into what the text calls the mysterious pearl. Now, this breathwork isn't just about oxygen exchange. It kicks off an incredible internal physical transformation. By intentionally swallowing saliva, which the text poetically calls the fluid of the 5 flowers, it starts as water, becomes saliva, and get this. The manual claims that after 250 days of doing this, it actually transforms into blood. From there, it refines into essence, and eventually it travels all the way up your spine to nourish your brain, which they called the mud pill palace. It's basically a complete internal recycling and upgrading system. But listen, this is not a weekend retreat. This practice requires extreme dedication. The manual outlines a strict 9-year chronological roadmap. 1 year in, you change your breath. At 3 years, you change your pulse. By 6 years, your sinews change. And at year 9, you completely transform your physical form into that of an immortal. Honestly, it kind of makes our modern 30-day diet challenges look like a walk in the park, right? It's a massive, long-term biological commitment. Part 3, visualizing inner deities. Here's the catch, though. Physical breathing isn't enough. The manual insists that you absolutely must vividly visualize the inner deities that literally govern your internal organs. And it gets incredibly specific. It categorizes 3 distinct gods residing inside you, known as the 3 deities of the Dantian, upper, middle, and lower. The visual details are super structured. They're all exactly 3 inches tall, they wear red garments, and they hold tools made of gold and jade. According to the text, if you don't keep your mental focus fixed on these inner gods constantly, your energy is just going to scatter outwards. And the visualizations get even more elaborate. You're also instructed to visualize a supreme inner god called the Great Cave Emperor 1. The text describes him as another 3-inch tall figure, but this one is formed entirely out of purple clouds inside your body. The manual says you have to picture him holding the sun and moon in his mouth, acting as a literal internal light source to illuminate all your internal cavities and organs. It's this intense, almost magical mental exercise designed to keep your awareness entirely locked inside your own physical structure.
Part 4. Healing and Daily Conduct.
To maintain this highly charged, visually active internal environment, you had to follow rigid behavioral rules every single day. What's truly fascinating is how this system treats breathing as literal, practical medicine. The text contrasts specific breathing techniques for different ailments. Like if you have a hot sickness, the remedy is to open your mouth wide and exhale loudly 10 to 20 times to physically expel the heat. But if you have a cold sickness, you do the exact opposite. You swallow warm breath and actively visualize it traveling to the cold area of your body to warm it up. Talk about targeted breath work. Beyond breathing, the pragmatic reality of the Taoist lifestyle involved rigorous daily discipline to protect what they called the vessel, your body. You had to eat bland porridge, you had to avoid anything hot or spicy, and never overeat. Emotionally, you had to strictly avoid anger because extreme emotions were believed to violently scatter your vital energy. And there were strict dietary taboos too, like completely avoiding the meat of the 36 animals. Literally everything you consumed or even felt was highly regulated.
Which brings us to Part 5. Defeating the 9 worms.
Brace yourself for this one. This is arguably the most visceral and shocking part of the entire manual, the literal eradication of internal parasitic demons. The text lists horrifying internal parasites, the 9 worms, that they believed actively fed off your energy and caused specific diseases. There's the hui worm, a foot long that supposedly pierces the heart. The bai worm starts at 1 inch but can grow to 5 feet long. Then there's the ru worm, gruesomely described as being shaped like a rotten apricot, which is just a horrifying image. And the fei worm, which hangs out in the lungs and causes severe coughing. To kill these worms, breathing alone wasn't going to cut it. The text provides a highly specific recipe relying on a blend of 9 esoteric herbal ingredients, like guanzhong, baijilu, and shuqi. It's a heavy pharmacological approach perfectly paired with their spiritual alchemy, which really goes to show that their pursuit of longevity required both mystical practice and hard, literal herbal medicine. And the preparation of this remedy was just as meticulous as the breathing exercises. You're instructed to roast all 9 ingredients until they turn yellow, pound them into a fine powder, and then mix that powder with honey to form pill-sized balls. You had to take these pills daily with a specific powder water, and you actually had to fast beforehand. The manual instructs the practitioner to slowly increase the daily dosage until you achieve total internal purification. So, what is the ultimate promise of this incredibly rigorous routine? The manual makes a very bold, very specific claim: 60 days. If you strictly follow this herbal regimen alongside the breathing practices, all illnesses and internal blockages, including those terrifying 9 worms, will be entirely cured in exactly 60 days. That is a surprisingly precise guarantee for ancient alchemy. When you step back and look at this whole shebang, the intense focus on the breath, the strict regulation of diet, the eradication of internal toxins, the targeted visualization to heal the body, it's hard not to wonder, how do these rigorous ancient rituals mirror today's modern obsessions with targeted breathwork, restrictive diets, and holistic biohacking? It really makes you think about what ancient biological secrets we might just be rediscovering today, only dressed up in modern terminology. Something to chew on as you consider your own daily routines. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.